And next we are going to bring in this guy. Come on.
Coleman!
Coleman, come on. Oh my Lord.
Guys, this is an icon.
I'm so sorry.
Right here.
And we're going to bring in the one and only Ernie Reyes Jr.
What's that?
Hi, everybody. All right, I'm going to sit in the middle of the voice.
Yes, absolutely.
Where do we care? How about boom, 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 boom? Yeah, I'll be in the middle, you sit there.
And Townsend,
Yeah.
I am so...
So we're in the middle for everybody.
I was reminiscing with
Judith.
With Miss Hoag, yes.
Yes, because we worked together before in Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And
It's been a minute.
for 1 minute, and I totally forgot.
No worries, man. Yeah,
Oh,
so I'm the guy with 2 last names.
Yes.
So just think of that. Actually, I got 3 last names. My middle name is Putnam, and I'm the 3rd. So wear that when you're 6.
So here I am.
That's a lot.
I am prepping the crowd, and then I'm going to get caught up with someone.
Yeah, here we go.
And I see Ernie in the back, and I completely forgot. And boy, that was really unprofessional of me.
No,
Anyway.
you know how like when you have to remember somebody's name, like your family is, you're meeting somebody for the first time, and here comes that person, and you know that person, and as soon as they
And then you
come
blank.
up, you're like,
Exactly.
hey, you, how are you?
And that is what happened to me. Anyway.
That's all
how
good, babe.
Is
All good. We're
How
nothing
is-
but love on the stage.
That's right.
how is the convention treating you guys so far? Come on in, have a seat, please. Well, look at this crowd first.
Come on in.
Yeah, why don't you guys give yourselves a round of applause first for being
We're
here.
going to give you a round of
You
applause.
made it. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm great.
Are you still in LA?
Yeah, I am still in LA.
How's that going?
Well, I mean, not at this very moment, but
Yeah.
it's going great. And I had an interesting day yesterday, just trying to get here. My flight got canceled in Charlotte, and so I thought maybe I wouldn't make it till tomorrow.
Right.
But ended up getting a flight late last night. Got in about midnight, so I'm a little.
Yeah.
See, guys, this is what happened to me when Judith walked
Yeah.
in. I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in, like, it's been
A long time.
a long time, very long
Yeah,
time.
like probably at least 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, about.
Yeah.
Anyhow, like I said earlier, if you guys have a question, please line up at that mic because we're going to be gabbing. And
Yeah.
this is your time with them. I'm just here to lead the way. So if you have a question, please line up.
Yeah. Oh, and let me just mention too, if you want to come by my table, you'll recognize me real well because I have no banner.
Really?
Yeah, it just says we put my nameplate up on top, says Townsend Coleman. So you'll recognize the Townsend and the Coleman part, but you won't see any pictures. So
We're in a place with tons and tons of artists, and we can't get somebody
We
to
need a
draw.
poster.
we need a post. We need something. Somebody with some paint come by and just draw Michelangelo on the curtain behind me.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know people here. We can get somebody to draw you something.
Yeah.
Right? We need a poster. That happened to me one time. I was in well, I won't say. But we don't need to
Oh, I
put
remember
anybody
that
out.
one.
But no, it was lovely, but it was what it was. And we had no names behind us, and fortunately there were a lot of collectors there, a lot of fans there, and so somebody who was selling posters put a poster up behind me, and then I said, if you let me use this for this weekend, I will sign it, I will give you blood, I will do whatever, because sometimes it happens. So now I think I'm gonna talk with you.
Yeah, so it's interesting because when you're a face actor like this young lady here, they recognize you. But when you're a voice actor,
Right.
they just walk by you and they don't recognize you. They
Right.
don't know who you are. So I'm here, but I'm here. Cowabunga, dudes! All right. Wow, well, that's all I needed to get out of my system. Or turtle power! All right, I feel much better.
All right. Ernie, you had an exciting life. Yeah, just amazing. I mean,
Ernie.
I love Ernie. He's got the softest t-shirt on, or sweatshirt.
Poor
Sorry.
excuse. Go ahead and rub me.
Dude, you beat up The Rock.
Good man.
This guy beat up The Rock. I don't know if you guys know that, but he beat up The Rock.
That's right.
Yeah, I had to let him smell what I was cooking.
Ernie's got the moves, baby.
Were you a fan of the Turtles before you were in the first movie?
I mean, I was aware of him. I have a younger brother, and so he was into the cartoons and the toys and stuff like that. So I was aware of it. I wasn't aware of how big it was. I just knew of it because of my younger brother. But, yeah.
Now, when they approached you, okay, you're going to get in the suit, you're going to do this. How much of the choreography and the fight scenes were you behind you saying, hey, you know what, I don't want to do this. I think we would do this instead. Because in Secret of the Ooze, dude, you were just like lightning fast.
Right.
Your control, your control was amazing. And they had to slow down the camera for you. I mean, like, what the hell, man?
So in the first movie, it was the first time that they were bringing over Hong Kong stunt guys to work on an American production. And so at that time, the Hong Kong stunt guys, especially in the genre of martial arts, were kind of considered a notch above what we were doing here in America, like in the 80s or whatever. You know, in Hong Kong, you don't have to have permits and you don't have to have safety rules. They're like, hey, yeah, you're gonna jump off the building and then land on the ground, no crash pads, and we're gonna give you a stunt adjustment. Here's your bowl of rice. In America, you have no, but in America, you have
sign me up.
in America, you have all these rules and regulations and safety, and so the things that Jackie Chan was doing, like you could never do those live, like physical stunts the way that they were doing them in America without having a lot of permits, and it just costs a lot of money to do huge action sequences.
Or a medic.
Or a medic, yeah. Anyways, long story short, one of the guys hurt his back in rehearsal, and so Pat Johnson, who was the stunt coordinator on the show, called me up. I'd known him since I was a little kid competing in martial arts tournaments, and he asked me if I wanted to do, work on the movie. There wasn't going to be any acting; it was just going to be stunts, and I was super excited. That's how I got brought on to the project. And then at the end of the first movie, they told me that I was going to have a human character for the second film. And so Pat, in terms of the choreography, Pat pretty much let us do whatever we wanted to do. So in the first movie, there was the four guys. We would go and we would sing and we would choreograph the stuff, and then we would show it to him. He'd give us a thumbs up, and then that's what it was. So it was like really, really fun, because normally there's like these long-winded creative discussions on what the fight scene should be with people that don't know anything about martial arts or fight scenes, and it's just like kind of a drag. But this was like total freedom, and he was really happy with everything we do. It was super fun to work on.
So I got a question for you. So what was it hard fighting in those suits?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was North Carolina, the middle of summer. It was like 102 degrees with 100% humidity.
It was crazy.
And then we were in the suits, and it's kind of like there were these latex foam rubber suits that weighed about, I don't know, it was like 50 pounds. And then, you can imagine like a Nerf football. You put like a Nerf football in water, and it kind of just all holds. So you're just fighting for like 10 hours a day, sweating in these things, and it's just all getting heavier and heavier as the day goes on. It was a pretty much nightmare, but it was at the same time you knew you were part of something special. And so, that's what it is making movies. They're long hours, it's hard work. People think it's just all a lot of fun. It's really tiring work. But when you're doing something that is something special while you're shooting it, it always is just all worth it.
Special. It was lightning in a bottle.
Right. Well, it's crazy. When we were recording the cartoon series, they made us wear the suits too in the studio. So that was weird.
Wow.
And you too. You in the suit. I got to tell you, that suit that you had was so much like you.
I know.
It was
It was
like
crazy.
so lifelike.
It was crazy, and they wouldn't let me keep it. So, damn.
Judith, I can't remember if I asked you this, but did you know anything about the Turtles when you?
I knew nothing. I knew nothing. And, you know, Townsend, I did not find out that there was even a cartoon until, I don't know, last week of shooting. I was like, like, maybe somebody could have told me. I could have watched. I could have done some research.
Yeah.
But apparently that was intentional. Todd Langdon, who's, you know, top billed screenwriter for the film, when they said write the movie, they gave him a stack of the original comics, and they said, this is your reference material. And they said, I think they told him, don't watch the cartoon. Not that the cartoon wasn't excellent, because clearly, my God, you guys are amazing. But they really wanted to go darker and a little more adult, which I think is people love, but it got them in trouble with the studio, and it got them, there were a lot of people, they did a screening of the film. I want to say they did it at Paramount, and it was before the film opened. There were no kids in the room, it was just executives, and they were watching this darkly lit movie that was not the happy, sunny cartoon that they were used to. Not that it wasn't complicated and that they had good storylines, but it was not the same feeling. And they thought, like, the movie was over, and usually people might clap, and it was just like, okay, well, thank you. And they left thinking, we've probably lost our careers, money, and we'll never work in this town again. And so when the film opened, they thought, well, let's just drive around LA and just see, like, is it a ghost town? Is anybody in line? And they saw lines down the block, around the corner. They were stunned. They're like, and I don't think it was, yay, we're gonna, you know, the movie's a success. It's, yay, we get to keep our jobs.
Right.
We won't be run out of town. And so, yeah, we had no idea. And I didn't know what it was. And it was really Robin Williams who said, that's a cool thing, keep going.
Well,
Yeah.
when that happened, I feel like we sort of set it up, and then you guys hit it out of the park, and really launched this thing, you know,
Which
in a
we
whole,
could not have done without you guys.
well, in a whole different direction. And what's interesting about that is, so we had been on the air for a couple of years already by that time, and we knew nothing about the movie being made. So when we read about, no,
I can't believe you weren't the voices.
Well, so here's the same thing.
That's
So what?
like, what? That's a tie-in. That would have been really good.
Yeah.
Not that we don't love our voices.
No, yes and no, because what you just said about them not wanting you guys to watch the cartoon.
There you go.
Was I figure it's, and it's interesting to hear that, because I figure that that's the same thing that we got kind of on our end when we heard about this movie being made. We read about it in the trades, that there's a live action Ninja Turtle movie coming out. And so we just assumed that since we were the voices of the Turtles, we knew that they were gonna have to be actors
Cast.
in suits, so they were gonna need us, right? And then they did.
Welcome to the heartache of Ninja Turtles.
Exactly.
We've all been there.
We waited and waited and waited.
And then the movie came out.
And yet, just about, yeah. And so our agents got a hold of the producers, and they said, "Nah, we're good. We got our own guys." And they're like, "But wait a minute, these
But
are
we're the
Turtles."
guys.
Yeah, we're the guys. And I said, "No, we're going in kind of a little different direction. It's a little darker. It's a little different feel and stuff. We don't want the cartoon sound in our movie." And we're like, "Oh." and so yeah, and so to get it from your perspective, we got the same thing.
Well, there's another layer to that story.
Ooh, it gets better.
So I had the most amazing actors in those suits. It was Josh Peiss, it was Michelin Sisti, it was Leif Tilden, and it was David Foreman. Now, David was a stuntman from England and had a British accent, and I knew that probably he would be dubbed.
He's got
But none of
he
the
being
other-
Michelangelo.
I'm Michelangelo. That's right.
Cowabunga.
Right, let's have some bangers on a pizza. Right, no, it doesn't go like that.
Anchovy and hot fudge, please.
Right, no.
Okay, your turn.
So
Go ahead.
wait, but I had gone in. I had to do ADR in the film, which is looping, so you have to basically lip sync the whole thing. I had never done ADR in my life. I had to do 90% of the movie, like all my dialogue, in ADR.
Wow.
In 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And I'd never done it before. It was the most thorough lesson in how to do that in your life. But still, nobody told me that when I was sitting there at the premiere, that when these turtles opened up their mouths, because I was used to these incredible actors who, it was their voices, it was my interaction with them. The movie opens and there's these voices that I'm like,
Who is that?
who are these people? Like, what just happened? Like, ah. And I was shocked. And so
The lines of communication broke down in so many, many ways. And many of us were stunned and mystified.
We have an audience question. What's your name?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, man.
You guys
Hey,
are
babe.
What's your
yeah, of
name?
course,
Sasha.
This is
he
Sasha.
can't forget Sasha.
So I had a quick question. I know that after the movie came out, this season's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated series, they changed they changed the whole show, and they, instead of the theme being Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, now they changed it and they had the movie scenes in the, in the cartoon later on in season 8, 9. Why was that? And they made it much darker afterwards. Now it wasn't like that fun comedy that it always was.
Right, and I'll tell you, we recognized that change when it happened. It was along around about season 6 or so. It's like somebody upstairs got this idea that, we want to make this a little bit darker. We want to go a little more in the direction of the features. And I thought, well, okay. And they started introducing, Lord Dreg and some other characters at that time. And just took it in a little bit different direction. It felt to me personally like a very different show. Because the show that we started off doing was very light and fun and playful and stuff. And really, I think, sort of geared toward kids. And I guess the producers just decided they wanted to try and, bring up that age a little bit, make it a little bit darker, and sort of tie it into the films that it, becomes so popular by that time. So we definitely, I remember those days and going, wow, we got new characters on the show, and it's just that the writing is different now, and I didn't quite know what to make of it, but I just kept suiting up and showing up.
Yeah. They kind of did that though with the films too, where it was very dark and had a very cinematic feel to it.
Yep.
And it broke records. It was like extremely successful. And then when they did the second film, they really did lean into more of a, I guess they caught a lot of flack for the kids, I guess people were karate chopping the baby or something. I don't know.
Doggone it.
But don't do that.
Don't karate chop your baby.
Don't. But it was like, it's had a sort of a schizophrenic life to it. Like, there's a lot of cooks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cooks and a lot of point of views. And it's like, what are we doing now?
Well, what's interesting about that now too is, since Nickelodeon has a franchise, and all the series that they've been making along the way, every series has its own personality
Yes.
and feel. It's a different set of voice actors, different animation styles. Very different animation styles, and it's interesting for me to meet fans who have their favorite version of the Turtles and don't like other versions of it, and sometimes you guys are very passionate about that, which I think is just fascinating. It's like, what is it that draws somebody to a certain animation style, or maybe it's the voice actor, or maybe it's the combination of the cast. I don't know. But
Yeah.
so definitely.
I mean, I've definitely had people say to me, tried to diss other Aprils, and I was like, not having it here, because I feel like in this turtle universe, there's like room for all of it. It's kind of like, how many Spider-Men have we had? How many Batmen have we had? How many different iterations of something? And what I love is just that the franchise stays alive and that there's something for everybody in different generations.
Yep.
And I love that. And so, like, when people were dissing, I remember it was so funny, like, Megan Fox is gonna try to, I was like, hi, big compliment. Like, she's hot. And then when I got to work with her, it was like, and you're way greater than I could imagine. So it was, I feel like there's a lot of room for it, and you guys are so passionate. We love that.
Absolutely. And without you guys, there wouldn't be us. So thank you for you.
Right.
And so I've got to go. You just mentioned something about just like with Megan Fox and being hot and stuff. So Renee Jacobs.
Also hot. Renee Jacobs, the original.
So Renee, of course, was the voice of April on our show, and she has. I guess she's gotten used to it now, but over the years, so people would start drawing fan art, right?
Oh yeah.
And when it came to April, some of them took great liberties of really making
Oh my
April.
Lord! I have seen pictures of April. That's like, wow.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel? When
I
you-
laugh. I think it's hilarious. All of this, like, we're so lucky. First of all, we wanted to go into our professions and be successful, and we've gotten that. And to be, this is 35. It's longer for you. You're almost at 4. Because you
Gosh,
were
it's
4,
going to be,
4, you're
well,
almost at the
87
40.
was average. So
Okay,
it'd be-
87.
Yeah, so 36 years. something like
Yeah.
that.
So the fact that we're here and we're doing this is massive, and like it's just like, I don't know. I see it as just a full-on gift, and all of it is. If I take it too seriously, you just come up and slap me,
Right,
right?
right.
I live in Western Massachusetts, Northampton, where the turtles are.
Northampton. Yeah, sure you do.
Where,
I saw it all night.
where the turtles were created, in my backyard. I
Yeah.
still have. I'm a huge comic book collector. Go figure. So I do have my original run of the turtles.
Oh.
So now a lot of people are gonna go grown, but when the cartoon first came out, I was one of those people that were like, that ain't my Ninja Turtles.
No, it was totally different.
Yeah,
Because
but
you
when
had
the
the
movie-
you had the comics.
Correct.
Right.
When the
And you
movie
go,
came
what's
out,
with these colors? Why are they?
exactly.
Yeah, they should all be
Well, I was
red.
like, why? No, they're all. Well, actually, no, they're all black and white.
Black and white. Well, for
Yeah. And then they became, all red. But when the movie came out, I was like, that's my Ninja Turtles. Those were my turtles. And it was like, but I grew to love the cartoon because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But the movie
Yes.
was more my turtles. We have another question.
Yeah, I wanted one more question.
Oh, sure.
What did you
This one's going to cost you. Ernie wants pepperoni.
There you go.
Judith, what
I'll
do you
just have a
want?
Bloody Mary.
I'll go
Bloody
to
Mary.
Walmart. They have the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pizzas.
Oh, there you go. Townsend, what do you want?
In Walmart.
Townsend, what do you want?
Check it out. Yeah.
So the question I had, what did you guys think about the 2014 movies and 2016, like when they first came out and the different style that the Turtles were and the action that they had?
live action ones?
I think
Yeah,
it's
but the later,
one-
later ones.
ones. Like,
I mean, I'm not a fan of those. I thought they looked way
Cheesy.
different, and I don't know. I mean, it's a lot longer, deeper story than that. That's my general take on it. Yeah, I could have done without them.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. I thought the first one, honestly, was okay. I thought they had some funny moments in it, but I couldn't really get over the fact that like they were huge, they're 6'4". Like I thought they were little, like
Yeah.
teenage small guys, So I don't know. That was just
I was contacted, and just note to self: if TMC calls you,
Don't pick up.
And I know that. Like I knew that.
Yeah, if your phone rings,
And,
that's TMZ.
but when they announced that they were going to do Ninja Turtles, it was Michael Bay, and a lot of people came out real hot and heavy and not happy. And Robbie Rist, who I love, was like something. And I've worked with Michael. Like I did Armageddon with him. I actually have, it was I like it. You may not love his movies, you may not, but I was like, hey, it lives on. And so they got in touch with me, and I thought, I'm gonna just say nice things. And they managed to turn it around, and I'm a little snippy about it. My feeling is, and was always, it's a franchise. It's like Marvel, not as big, but and
Bigger.
there's bigger. It's bigger than Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's room for all. All I want is for people to be successful.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
The end. Do well.
Guys,
I'll give you just
Let's give her a round of applause.
Oh, stop.
She's really like that.
I hate to do this, but this is the quickest half hour of
Are we done?
Yeah.
No, we're gonna. She's got a question.
We
She's got a
have
question.
one quick question. What's your name?
Danielle.
Hello,
Hey,
Danielle.
Danielle.
All right, so
Hi.
I have this question for Ernie specifically.
Oh my God.
Because I grew up watching Secret of the Ooze religiously as a kid. That was my favorite out of all three. Screw the other two, I'm sorry, but Secret of the Ooze will always have my
Because
heart.
he's so cute.
No, not even that. Not even that. Just
I think it's the ninja
tone
rap.
of it better.
And at least Michelangelo is your favorite, though, right?
He is.
All right.
And Donatello too. That movie, I have to say, had pretty deep moments, specifically with Donatello questioning all of his self-worth after finding out that everything that happened with the ooze was all a big mistake. And I think that was something very poignant to that film that I very much hold dear, that they still managed to put in references to stuff like that, very deep for a children's movie, but not even that. Ernie, I just have to say that you kicked so much ass in that opening scene against the people robbing that mini mall or whatever that is. But I have to say, I know that the classic karate was part of obviously the choreography for the martial arts and everything, but what other styles were in there? Because I could have sworn to God, when I go back and I rewatch Secret of the Ooze, I watched that opening with you, I could have sworn that I saw hints of influence from Taekwondo,
Yeah.
Specifically the Taekwondo point sparring, which is personally what I do. I'm at green belt level now, so
Too.
Nice.
And all the time.
yeah, so that's what I just wanted to ask. What other types of martial arts were in there that influenced the overall style of the fighting and everything?
Yeah, I mean, my original style was Taekwondo. That's what we did when I was a kid, growing up. So all of the spinning kicks and the jump kicks and all of that stuff, that's all, Taekwondo. And, so that was kind of always been Bruce Lee was my hero as a kid growing up, still is, inspired by him. So a lot of my choreography kind of comes from, my interpretation of some of the things that he was doing and talking about. So, but thank you, that's so sweet. That was awesome.
Yeah.
thanks, Danielle.
Okay. Before we wrap up, two things.
And good luck to you with your martial arts career.
Yeah.
It's a little
If
scary.
you need any sparring, call me in.
Before we wrap up, I need two things from the audience. First, big round of applause. Second, if you have not already done this, I need you all to go to their tables, buy a picture, get an autograph, get a photo op.
Just come say
and
hi.
Go say hi, okay?
Take me home with you, give me a good meal.
Somebody make this man a sign.
And then the third, a big Contropolis, New Jersey round of applause. One more time for Ernie Townsend.